Nakwana Jama'a, good morning, all. Nasuni Shomo. This is the only language that you hear on the last day. This is today's live on Equa Television International. I'm so excited to have you join. And today's Thursday, we're talking about education. You know why I'm so excited? It gives you the opportunity to learn, to acquire that desired knowledge that you'll be able to deal with real life situations. And as always, on Christ the solid rock I stand. All other grounds are sinking sand. And by the way, my crew are right here. Engineer Tony J.
Who are your
Nakali.
crew? Who are your crew? Who are your crew?
Shomo. Let me just teach you this one.
Don't change the rating of this show, please. We are growing, so you are bringing it down. If you speak that terrible language on this set again, what's that?
That's the Shomo. How are you? Good morning. Samu Solomon, good to have you. Prudence.
Prudence. Greet her in the language that will be spoken. Equa President is not watching. That will be spoken on the last day and continually. Greet her in that language.
There you go.
Oh,
You say?
no.
You say? Well, today we are talking about education. And
Okay. So you
Good
know.
morning, viewers watching all over the world. This is Tony J. Nakali, and it's today's live on Equa Television. Please, I want you to wholeheartedly disregard the weak introduction that was done earlier, and we're sorry we didn't get it right because of the language that was spoken, and we sincerely apologize to those of you that are truly offended and are hurting right now. We are sorry. However, we promise. Well, considering the topic that we're discussing, education and book smart. You see, some people grew up in the street, so and street life is following them wherever, including sets, television sets, international. So, Prudence, let me start with you. I am highly optimistic that you will not misbehave in any way. In any way, I trust you very well. So the three of us are hosting this show today, and please tell us what's the difference between. If you don't put that mic back, what's the difference between book smart? Okay, what do you prefer?
Book smart or street smart? I want to say something. And I say it's just
Is
to
your
say-
opinion? Disregard whoever
Just
is
to
not
say
here.
I'm always having
Disregard
no
whoever is
opinion.
not here.
As it is, we are just three on this. morning.
Okay,
Wow.
okay. Okay. I think I'll go with street smart.
But you went to school. Expensive
did.
one at that.
I did.
I hope your father is not watching this show. You go and see your certificate. Akara inside. They will wrap it and keep it for you to come back. It says street smart.
Why I will go with street smart rather is as much as book smart is important, or like it's good to be book smart. Sometimes when you leave, and that's how a lot of us struggled because we were so focused on book smart. I need to understand this. I need to get my English so neat. I need to get this and that and this and that. So that I would not go somewhere and someone would look at me like an illiterate. However, we forgot what the street teaches you. What does the street teach you? It teaches you patience, tolerance, and endurance, and perseverance. But you see, those three are rarely found in the four walls or rarely found inside a book. Sometimes the book tells you need to persevere, but it doesn't show you how to persevere. So you're reading perseverance, but you have no clue what it is. You are caged in the four walls of his school, and there are a lot of things that you do and you want to do. And for some of us that our parents were like, no, I just want you to be comfortable so that you would just understand what you're learning in school. You find that they pamper you, they do a lot of things for you on behalf of you. So when you come out to the world and the world is giving you the real deal, you're kind of lost. You have to find a balanced ground to balance. So as much as street smart is I mean, book smart is important. I think street smart is really what keeps you going.
Joyce, would you say, as painful as it is for me to ask you this question regarding your presence on the show, would you say, well, Solo, would you next time you play too much when I was said, and you know the painful part, you can't do any vengeance on this show. Vengeance is both mine. I am the one that can offend. I am the one that can still take vengeance. You are forgiven.
Thank you.
That means you recognize your bloopers.
No.
Joyce, let's be realistic about book smart and street smart. What does it mean to you that someone is book smart and the other person is street smart, and both of them are kept together to analyze life or analyze several perspectives of things? Who do you think would have more experiences, and who do you think would come up with top-notch solutions or answers based on book smart, street smart, and why?
Okay. When you talk about education generally, it's just the opportunity that avail itself for you to learn, and there are different forms of education, and then the normal street smart that we often make reference to is a form of education, and then the books smart we're talking about is also another form of acquiring knowledge. So for me, what stands out, especially in our world today, you can acquire book knowledge, but you don't have the ability to deal with real life situation because you don't have the experience. There are people that were homeschooled, and then it was the book that they were just taught and they had their first contact with. And then there are people on the street that barely go to the school, but they have the opportunity to interact with people that even went to school, read the books. So they come, they interact with them, they see it, and they also practice it. Now, in learning, there's what is called theory, and then there's what is called practical.
Sure.
So you get that practical knowledge on the street because you're dealing with experiences. And personally, when I was reflecting on this topic, I was like, in this world today, if you're not smart, people will use your head. As in, people will use your head. Like, there are a lot of people that are being and are becoming manipulative by day. Once they just see that this guy does not understand the streets, they just use your head. And we've had instances that people that are knowledgeable are being scammed. Why? Because they don't have that experience of the streets. So I had one experience one time when my phone was stolen in a taxi. So it was like, I just stopped the cab and then I entered. And before we got to a particular location, it was like, oh, you locked when I entered, and then the lady there shouting, my hand. So more like I jammed her hand, and then I was struggling, trying to just ensure that I opened the door because I was imagining the pain that she's going through. Unknown to me, that was a plan. It was a plot. 2 ladies and then guys, including the driver, they plotted that. And then while my attention was on the door to ensure that I opened the door so that her hand can be free, the ones behind and the driver are trying to put their hands in my bag to remove whatever they can. And then at the end of the day, they succeeded. So after they were done, then the lady said the hand was, because I started shouting at the driver, oh, you are seated and I'm struggling to open the door. The door is not even opening. And then you're just seated saying push. So he just got out of the car, and then already they were done with what they needed to do. So before he dropped, she said the hand was, and then I was so uncomfortable. I was angry about that for some minutes she was screaming her hand, and then the driver was just telling me to push and the door was not opening. So I just decided to go out of the cab. And then when I dropped, like, come in, I was like, I just tried stopping another cab. So when I just decided, oh, let me just pick my phone, I noticed that my phone was not in the. So now putting all this scenario together, like, look at the people that just played on my senses. Like I was looking at, they were obviously like the ladies drunk, and if you're talking about education, like 4 walls of school, you can rate and say, oh, this is the level at which they stopped. But they came up with that technique, and it was not just me. A lot of people were victim of that. They just say, oh, just one child, come in, and you enter, and before you know, they just. So I'm not disregarding the book, because even the book covers the reality in the society. But there's something about experience. When you see it, you learn it, you relate to it. You don't need imaginations at that point because you have tried it. You used to say something about measuring a thing 10 times to be sure before you. I don't know exactly the quotes, but I don't know if you can help me with that.
Say, please, can you help me? No, I don't know if you can help me.
Could you please help with that?
It's better to measure a thing 10 times and cut once than to measure once and cut 10 times.
So you see, experience.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi!
In
Where are you from again?
Proudly at Noboze.
You are shaving your people on air.
They are proud of me, I know. So imagine in measuring, you measure the first time and you see that, oh, maybe I didn't get it well. That's why it didn't come out like this.
Measure 9 more times.
So it has become a part of you. When you are relating to somebody, there's no way that the person will not understand. That's one thing about the street smart experience. You live in it, you learn, you relate, you react. That's just the street smart. So I think in a real life situation where you bring somebody with that is on the street or grew up on the street, and then the person that is just, earlier on I make reference to people that were homeschooled. In fact, in today's world, a lot of parents don't allow their children go out, relate. Unlike back then, you see people even stay in compound houses. They interact, they relate. You get to know that people think differently, different attitudes, different perspective to lives, and you learn to respect that. You know that if you try this person, this is what the outcome will be. But today, people grow up. Everybody's building flats. Protecting the house with walls and everything you can, and your children just go to school and come back home and is either lesson teacher or holiday school, or there's no time to, at most where they see people or other children, Sunday school, or maybe when they go for maybe family visits and all of that. So you see there's some kind of limitation to the level of knowledge in real terms, like practical terms. So for the person with the street knowledge, you go to school, you come back, it's like what you were taught, you want to come and practice it. So you are at advantage more than the person that limits his or herself to just the book knowledge. So I think the person with the street will stand out.
Yeah. And I was going to just add to what she was saying. Book smart and street smart, it's something that should have been going hand in hand, because we find that in our society today we have a lot of young people growing with low tolerance. And when I say low tolerance, it means that the moment this young person is in trouble and he's suddenly just in a fix, you begin to think that you have no other options than to just go ahead and just take your life or do some nasty things, just because you have not built that tolerance that you should have. So that the resistance that you should have to certain pressure that comes your way, and life comes with pressure. So a lot of times, as she said, a lot of times you find that the people are being caged. It's like, every parent is not becoming a mother hen, and to the extent that you're not allowing the child to see the light or to see the environment that the child is. So when this child leaves the bosom of the mother hen, he has no idea where he's going to next. She has no idea where she's going to. So whatever falls on her laps, or his laps, he's just struggling to find a balance, because there's no resistance being built. But you see, growing up on the streets, there's resistance already. You build resistance because you won't just allow anybody to get to you or anything to get to you at the snap of fingers. No, you would try to take a step back and think, okay, if I do this way, do this way, I can find my way around this and move ahead. But because you're just too focused on just the theory, the theoretical part of things, when things seem to not work anymore, you find it hard. It's like this. You have a project. You've already done a theory of it. For instance, I dabble a little bit with clothes, fashion. So you know that you have theoretical knowledge that if you cut these inches, it will give you the armhole. If you cut these inches, it will give you the neck. If you cut these inches, it will give you the waist. But you have not done it on a material before. You're just hearing someone telling you that this is how it is done. So when you come to do it yourself and you're trying to do it, let it come out exactly like how this person's picture said it would come out, and you're struggling because you missed just a little bit of things. And then you find that
just reminded me back then in school how that we had this course, audio production, and they keep the picture of the equipment, how different types of mic. I didn't like that at all, because you just have PDF and the features of these, that, how would I understand all of this? I've not seen it in real term, and then I've not used it. Like, you just have explanation to how it works, and that's how you carry the same knowledge and go to exam hall when they say the characteristics, how you just have. But when I see it, I might not be able to identify it. But there are people out there that go to studios as volunteers, like without even studying, let's say reading any book about audio production, but they have first-hand like touch with all of these things. They tell you how these things work, how this, don't do this, don't. But you that have read and have all the knowledge, I remember writing exams on that particular course. It was really frustrating because it has to do with equipment that I've not seen, have not touched, have not like. So it's like the reality when it comes to some of, I wouldn't say all, because there are people that like they watch after reading the books, you watch videos, you try to learn, but then there are those other people that the contact is just with the book,
but
and you never
but technically the person that goes back to watch the video is street smart.
But painting this picture, it's showing that our universities are not doing the right thing, because you're supposed to have
not all,
not all.
You're not all. You understand? But ideally, you're not supposed to tell us this going through this particular training that you said, because ideally, university should have
your fees covered for your tuition covered.
Yes, covered for everything. You are not supposed to, if you are talking university, that means you should be full kitted studio for that purpose. So that means you do the recording, you will see the waves, you will treat it, before you even sit for the exam. But that one is a failure of the school. But for me, I would say book smart, because yes, they supposed to go hand in hand, right? But if you look at it, there's a place for the two. There's a place for the two. The place for the book, that is why people are doing are doing all that they could to see that they bring something that will solve a particular problem in the society. And then they try and put it in a book that people will see.
I'm also in the show. Once in a while, I'll be looking at me.
Okay, so
so I was in a real life situation when two people are brought seated, school, book smart and then street smart. You think the book smart?
That's why I said there's a place for both.
No, you pick what you said.
No. There's a place for both. You understand? You can't just say two of us will just come and then you try a street experience. Why? Where I grew up is different from somebody from Genta, for instance. Definitely.
See, you are this Genta.
Or Tudunwada or Ogadabiu. Or Alheri, for instance.
I met someone for the first time. So my friend was asking him, do you still live in this particular neighborhood. He mentioned, I don't want to call it the He said, yes. He said, after Sata make a career, that after they stole your dog 3 times, you are still in that area. He said, oh, that's where I built. I cannot. You see, every form of education is important, if you allow me. But we just tag one as formal, the other one as informal. And then because it is informal, it's almost like illegal. Because today people are more concerned about you graduated from Bingham University. Oh, wow. And Joyce was in UJ. Let's employ the Bingham University. Why? Because it's private. And UJ is government. So just from that, they think Prudence would have edge over Joyce until you sit them down and start talking. And then there are certain things, if you notice, organizations, when they are looking for people that are skillful in such areas, they don't look for people who went to school. And it's the tech guys. They don't. Nobody wants to say, what did you graduate with being a cameraman? What did you graduate with being a sub? Because they know that certain traits in this part of the world is gained whether by apprenticeship or by following someone who knows how to do it, or by closely watching someone doing it. So you see, if we believe that everything about life shows that man has the intention of prospering, we will disregard whether this one is formal or it is informal. The professor who has been professor for 50 years will never take his car to a mechanic that is a professor. We have professors in mechanical engineering, right?
Yes.
But a professor from medicine or the medical line would not take his vehicle to that professor. The vice chancellor of a university that graduates both mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, building engineers, and all that, when they want to engage someone for their house building or a building project or fixing of vehicles or machines, as a matter of fact, in the university they have generators, but they have technical departments. These technicians are mostly people that are employed from learning on the streets. You see the irony of life? So is your tailor, what fashion school did she go to? The woman that makes clothes, or the man or the woman that makes clothes for the governor or his wife or the president, what fashion school did they attend? You understand? So we should not be in a hurry to say because you do not have a government certificate from a university, you are incapacitated to do wonders. No, we should not think that way. And we should also not think that the education that we get from the universities or from the secondary or whatever levels of education, we should not also think that they are useless just because people that are street taught are smarter. No, it plays. The street will not tell you how to dress well to go for an interview.
True.
There are certain things like decorum.
Courtesy.
Yes,
Etiquette.
certain things that some decorum you will not learn them from the street, because the street will always be the street. In fact, the day that you see your street friend dressed like a banker, you guys will laugh at him all day long. Why? Because this is not us. What's happening? Something is wrong. Brother is leaving. You understand? Let's save him. So if we are looking at book smart or street smart, if you let me, I would say one should get both. It stands you out beyond anything, because I have both, so I know how important it is. Because there are times that education will play a very vital role in administering XYZ issues, and there are times that, man, is that street. Have you ever been in traffic, like a thick traffic? That time, a education will leave is that street. Okay, move your vehicle. What they do you? Well, that is what the street does to you. Once in a while we have these temperaments. Once in a while they come out and they show. And then when you are rolling up your glasses, that's when you are thinking, so I'm the one that just behaved like Joyce Jakada just now, or I'm the one that just behaved like Solomon Sambo just now. It's left for you to think of how they behave. Me, I'm just giving an example and all of that. The good thing is that nobody can give this kind of example.
Yes.
So, but truth be told, Joyce was talking about school, and then they would just download some PDF files of text and send to students and ask them to. I worked in a particular university where I dealt with audio production, and in that university, all we had was a microphone and a desktop system. Guess what, Joyce? I don't know, maybe you met the same system in your university, but in the audio production section, you have you teach practicals and you teach theory. You have 630 something students in one class. No microphone to speak. So you just shout at the top of your lungs. When you are done shouting, if there is a test, you give and all that. So what the university did was to pair them into 10, 15 groups. So all they need to do is come up with a script, come to the studio, voice it over, edit it, and submit. I was the one in charge of giving them topics. I was the one in charge of editing. I was the one in charge of, and I was the one they will submit it to, and I was the one that will mark it. Am I not marking my work? You see how the system works? I'm the one marking my work. And my HOD then, the head of the department, he was the one in charge of video. So he would do it, give them the script, give them the same thing and edit it and come back and mark it. So whose work are you marking? If you go to the university right now, some universities, if you pick up this kind of mic and you ask them, what is this? What is this? They tell you it's a microphone. What's the difference between this type of microphone and this type of microphone? They may not be able to answer you. They are like, see, or guy, if you want to teach. Mic. True. But go to the street. Meet a young guy who jumps in from one studio to the other. He will tell you, no, if you are buying mic, don't buy this. So, and he will give you good reasons. And if you listen to him, you will invest properly. Street. Classroom. Because the classroom is a book here we're talking about. They are all important. But if you have both, one speaks louder depending on the situation than the other.
I know, interestingly, I've seen how that some of our high institutions are inculcating the two. There are some high institutions that you can easily tell that this person graduated from this school. And then there are some behaviors you see in the other, you know that, no, this person attended this high
Even
institution.
when we were in secondary school,
When you go to camp,
when you see some boys behaving, you like, "Can I learn to Nico?" That's how it is. Just, "Can I learn to Nico?" Say me like, yes, so what? Are you in Yes, is Laronto? Yes, so what?
Proudly.
He's not wearing uniform, but you can apportion behavioral patterns from people. Just you can apportion. You can just say, this one you went to this school, and it will be right.
Funny
Honestly.
enough, this morning I just did something similar. I went to a bus station and someone was traveling to school, and two other ladies came in, and immediately they came in. I was like, "These two are going to your school," and she said, "Why?" I'm like, "They behave exactly like your school."
People. And it turned out true.
And it turned out true at the end of the day. So
the same example, Prudence, like in a bus park. Let's say when students are resuming school and they are touring the same path, not the same school, but maybe the same state or the same local government. The one that's like, maybe let's say a private school that's everything is done for them, everything.
Like the ones.
Wow, okay. So might just come. Yes, the one you went.
So Jesus just is not private school. Is it not private now?
Before So-
I'll catch you later.
now you are having two different let's say students from different school. Now the one that came early, let's say from private school, that everything is done for them, computers and the rest, might come and just be standing. And the one that attends the government school, is assuming his government school, can just come, and the first thing is looking for the good place to sit first. He goes and where can I? Then this other person will be like struggling with esteem. Should I talk? How? Like, you can easily tell. So those ones have been taught to do things themselves, even in the school. That's why I said there are some schools that they try to teach you the street, as well as while you are learning the book, you're also taught the street. How that you approach life, you deal with real life situations. You see, some of these lecturers will stand and tell you, see, this is where I grew up. And as they are teaching you, they will tell you, this one I'm teaching you is knowledge for life. That's the street. They didn't get it from the book. It's from the street, and they will tell you this knowledge is for life. Because anywhere you go, any situation you encounter, this knowledge can help you. And that's why I say, one of our lecturers say, you may write this. We are communicators, we are not politicians. But the politicians cannot do without us. We are in politics, but we are not politicians. You may write this. We'll be wondering, so how would we deal with this? When example, this one should just give us page to read or teach us from the book. But after school, we realize that truly, these are knowledge for life. Think globally, act locally. You might not see it in the book, but in reality, you keep seeing situations. I'm doing this business, she's also doing it. How can what will make me different from her? Thinking globally and acting locally. While we are doing the same thing, what will make me stand out? It is those knowledge outside the book, knowledge from experience, that will help you. The whole goal is to succeed in what you do. So if the goal is for me to succeed in what I do, should I restrict myself? We have people till tomorrow that will tell you that's not what they taught us in school. When times are evolving, things are changing, the world itself is dynamic. And then they will say, they're saying we should do it. That's not what they taught. In school, they said, you should say like this. And that is what they want to hold on to.
And even not even them, even you that is in that situation, if you don't speak in line with what they are taught or what they were taught, they don't see you as an educated person.
Yes.
True.
People just want results to come from a particular angle. See, we will not disregard that the fact that everything in life is run by principles. Even God, he doesn't run this world by miracles. It's by principle. That is why when he says, this is who you are, he did not work it out for you. You will work it out. He just said it. He said that this is how he sees you. It's up to you to make it right or wrong. It's the same thing with the school. They teach you and say it's up to you to make it in life or not.
And you don't know, one that back then in school, when they teach you, they make references. They say in 1990 this, so person postulated. Now in 2000 and this, so there's an improvement because times changed.
Yeah.
So so person still researched, and then there was an added knowledge.
Even though the definition of every other thing remain. Do you understand? Is the explanation that might be different, but the definition remain. They tell you what is science. It's a study of what's a human or something. Or I don't know. They tell you what is literature. They tell you that literature is this. They tell you what is biology. They tell you what is physics. From like when it was invented, it has the same definition. But to explain it, now they have different means of explaining it. It's the same thing with the street. The hustle gets realer as the times get tougher. You know, so you tighten up as situations tighten up as well. But you see, there are people who don't care. Regularly, they do what they did yesterday, what they did last year, what they did 2 years ago. They're still doing it today. And they brag about repeating the same thing tomorrow. But you know what? Nobody in life complains about life not being fair to them like people like that.
True.
So how do you want life to be fair to you? Please tell us. How do you want life to be fair to you? You went to the market, bought everything to cook, and you kept everything in the kitchen, expecting that when you go back the next hour, the food is done. No. You don't even have to put everything together. Everything has a particular time. Some things take longer time to melt in that hot meal that you are cooking than the other. That is why you start with some and you finish with the others. There are some they tell you when you overcook this, every nutrient in it disappears.
True.
So put it at this time. That is how life is.
You know, I was actually listening to one of the feminine iconic leader in Nigeria, and she was addressing like a set of graduates, and she said this, like, be open to learn. Don't think that because you study this is definitely going to be the way to your own success. For some people, true, but for some others, you at the end of the day, you will discover that this is not even the way that will lead to your success. Imagine somebody that studied chemistry, but at the end of the day found herself in furniture, like furniture business,
and she's
doing very well right now. That's what has been sustaining her, not what she actually studied. So you need to be open. She was talking about the fact that as an employer, she would employ character rather than skill. Why? Because the person with character, you can teach him the skill, and then your business will blossom. But there are some people that have the skill without character. And they are like poison to other people that are willing and ready to learn. At the end of the day, your business will suffer. You're talking about people that do the same thing for 2-3 years and they feel, I've known it, this is it, and these are the same set of people you find complaining regularly. Why? There's absence of character. It is the character that will make you understand that, see, times change. So you need to be ready and open to learn. As times change, you too have to improve. And that is why when you are told that, see, let's do it this way, be open to learn. Not like, no, this is how we used to do it. No, you find yourself being stagnant. You find yourself not growing. So it is like whatever you choose, like Ejida Tony rightly said, both the book smart and the street smart are very important. It just like it has to do with the situation that you find yourself. Which one are you going to apply? Imagine you find yourself in a situation whereby what is required is the street smart and you don't have it. No wonder you see that a lot of people have been scammed. Like, because at that point the street smart was not there. But there are also some people that at the time or the point where the book smart is needed, it is not there. It is only the street smart, and it cannot sustain them. No wonder some people lost on job opportunities. You went for an interview but not dressed properly because you didn't know that is what is obtainable. There are some simple etiquette that you know that when you are in public you should observe, but you just go.
No, street, no send it out.
You don't send.
Somebody will just go and pass in front of governor.
And just like, pass. And who is that? Like, he doesn't care. And he
they
just
tell you, governor is it? So what?
Yeah.
Street smart. You don't do road for our area. But you see, an educated person will exercise discretion.
Yeah.
There's this respect that education gives you.
Yes.
You have this sense of pride that to an extent I am educated. And then I need to act as that. I was watching something on my phone yesterday. The biggest competition in the world right now. You know what I'm talking about. And someone came. He couldn't speak English. So he came with an interpreter. So they were asking him, they were asking the interpreter what he does, for work. And the guy said he's a fisherman from morning. Then from noon, they fish in the morning, right? So they fish in the morning. Then from noon, he has a bike that he delivers passengers and goods. From the Philippines, the person found his way to America. When I was watching, I was like, do you know that this guy, for him to be practicing that kind of business, he didn't say he was a banker or anything. I didn't know about his educational qualification. But I don't think his education has anything to do with delivering passengers on a bike. Oh, we call it Okada here. And then fishing. And then in the Philippines, where you have opportunities to excel if you study anything. But this guy went for that competition And you could tell he started crying. When he saw people, you could tell he was not exposed. Nothing. But guess what? When I was watching, I saw a lot of educated people who sat still to watch this guy. Sometimes people feel intimidated. How do you want me to fit in a place where every other person is educated except me? You see, when we say educated, people just think you went to university. That's what we mean by educated. If you have knowledge on something, you are educated about it.
Yes.
Right now, people are watching today's life. For those that are learning anything from it, they are being educated.
True.
They are being educated. We were educated about the topic. That is why we can come and educate others on the same thing as well. If you are watching the show, don't think because I did not acquire any form of education, I will not amount to anything in life. Is the greatest deceit you can ever make to yourself. But be positive. If you have just one trade, be positive about it. Wake up every morning bragging to yourself that you have a trade. You know, the armed robber, the people that collected your phone, they were so slick that they did it. You have to be smart to steal something from someone and not caught. In the presence of the person. Book smart. But street smart collected phone from book smart.
That one paid me.
You
It
see?
paid me. You know what? Because I saw the two ladies behind. They were already even looking drunk. But these were the ladies that played this one. Oh, you locked my hand. And then the other one, push. She was even really trying to help me push, unknown to me. So I was wondering, with all the education.
You are not the only one that this old trick has been played on successfully. We had a staff here, about 2 or 3 of my staff have fallen victim of the same thing. To an extent, one time I said in a staff meeting, all of us use smartphones. You have friends at work. Once you are entering any means of transportation, if it's commercial, while you walk towards it, just snap the number plate and forward it to your friend, your father, your mother, your sister, anybody. Just forward it. If anything like that happens, the phone is gone, but the information is in another device, and we can use it. And you have a headway. This is the color of the vehicle, and this is the number plate. And before you know it, you can make success out of it. They did that to our office official phone till today. Phone is not back.
The problem is that a lot of emphasis are being like, you won't blame individuals, it's even the country we found ourselves, the system. A lot of emphasis is on the certificate. Like, if you don't have, you're not relevant. And no wonder people look at you and say, this one is not educated.
That's
What
why
they
parents-
mean is not
That's why
that
parents say go to school,
School.
get education,
Yeah.
so that you can become somebody
and
in
then
life.
you go to school while you're in primary school. I want to become a doctor. In secondary school, I want to become a lawyer. When you're done with the secondary school, I saw a meme that cake by ST.
As funny as that sounds, that's really how life has turned.
You get
into.
now.
What was her story? What was
Okay,
her? She wanted
in primary
to be
school,
a pilot.
she wants to be a doctor. When she got to secondary school, she was in the arts. Oh, I want to become a lawyer. After finishing law school, cake by ST. Like,
Okay.
You get
She was not practicing.
any. Like, why? Because you are looking at problem that is existing in the society.
To cut the long story short,
Cake by
Cake
ST.
somebody said that if he had followed his dream by that today, he would have been a pilot. That this is the day that he would have been a pilot.
So, truth be told, as
When
important.
they finished, they now saw him with his Okada. He was trying to start.
Pilot driving.
They are all
At least
Why
he's
is
driving.
pilot?
Yeah, at least.
let
I don't
education
think- I don't think
let
they buy it.
education be about solving problem. Let education be about impacting. There are a lot of problems in our society. Like, dare to be a solution to a
to
problem.
some of them.
Yeah, so just look at your immediate environment. What is the problem? Oh, there are needs of cake. Like, people are getting married, and then of course people cut cake.
That's why
So
it's
can I
That's why
Cake
it's
by
like-
That's why it's, yeah.
she
you
sews
could,
clothes.
or you could be a shoemaker. Oh,
There's
beautiful.
nothing wrong with that.
See, let me
It's
tell you
actually
something.
real-
Let me tell you
Good.
something. If we have factories that make the kind of shoes that we wear in this country,
We'd have revenue more than we can.
what are you saying? How many people will be empowered? If we have, just
We
imagine,
import the hide and ski.
just imagine,
Nigeria.
just imagine, Joyce, that how many we are. They said
Export
how
product.
many million are we?
220.
220 million people
Estimated.
estimated. That means in Nigeria there are over 220 million trousers,
True.
over 220 million shirts, and people buy every day. Why are we buying what is imported? Do you think Nigerians cannot make the shirts I'm wearing?
Oh, they are doing it already.
Maybe this shirt I'm wearing is even made in Nigeria, having a tag of another country or another
Because we
designer.
like to
We like to
patronize.
do that. But what will stop? And you say there's no enabling environment.
Yeah.
Somebody will invest, and there will be no light for the machine to sew. You know, so people that are street smart, if you go to the streets, they are the ones making clothes that we are wearing. They are the ones making the shoes that we are wearing. They are the ones doing the hair that we are wearing. The hair that we are wearing, they are the ones making it. If you go to the streets, they are the ones making the hair that we are wearing.
You see, Joyce, you talked about
Are they not the ones making the hair that we are wearing?
Street smart.
street smart.
We
You see, the
combined the two.
the
Did you
balance.
say, did you say Christmas or street smart?
Street smart.
Street smart. You know, gonna be people how you speak. You
Now
know,
wow.
you have to have
Now
extra
wow.
ear,
This
you
pride
know,
here.
for you to listen and understand. You know, you see the balance here
Humble
is
yourself.
is
Solo is educating you.
is that open mind. You know, you have to approach whether the book or the street with an open mind, because I believe if you are open minded, that is when the issue of character that you're talking about. You know, I remember always what you do say, what you normally say, that it's something about character, that you can get to a place, you know, with your smartness, with your education, but it's only your character. I'm just paraphrasing, not putting it the right way you do put. You know, it's only your character that will keep you there. You can graduate with first class. You know, people are looking for you left, right, and center. You know, different kind of organization and the rest.
Is it still existing? Is that
yes,
because before now, even
Yeah.
the institution you graduate from will
Would
retain
want
you,
to
but
retain
now
you.
they release.
you know what I'm trying to say. You can be best at what you are. You do. But what I'm trying to say is that character that will keep you wherever you think
find
you are.
yourself.
You find yourself. That's the point. So you have to just have that open mind, you know, to approach things. If you are book smart, you have to open up your mind. That means to accommodate more. Because if your mind is locked, that's when they will say, so I thought he went to school. It's because
I don't relate with people.
it's because there's a pattern which he has been taught, and he's just okay with that, and he doesn't take anything that comes from anybody. Most especially if you say this person is coming from the street, and he'll be like, "What did this guy tell me?" Or what?
They
what
won't,
did
they
she
won't
have?
even want you to
Yeah.
speak in the meeting.
Of course,
They are
of
all,
course,
they are all
because-
professors.
Very
Who are
true.
you to talk?
So-
to?
We graduated with
graduate-
X4.
So it is very important, like Engineer Tony said, wherever you are, you know, you find yourself, just have that open-minded approach, you know, to what you are doing.
True.
Be ready to accommodate, because when you have open mind, that is when you will be able to see problem. You able to think of solving them. That's when you will see people that you think they are the ones that they are supposed to take care of certain things. You know, there are certain issues that people are looking up to those people, thinking they are the ones. But it will just surprise you. Somebody from nowhere, like you will be like, so you mean this guy was thinking, you know, all this while he was thinking how to solve this? Like seriously, and we have XYZ here. So automatically that means you don't have a place there.
You know, funny enough, something like this really happened one time. My sister was under the weather We went to this hospital, that hospital, the hospitals that we thought were big hospitals, and she wasn't getting any better. So my mom said, "Oh, let's just try this small one. What's the harm there?" So she went ahead and took her there. And they looked at her like, "Okay, no, so these are the tests you've done and this is all you've done. No, we think you should take this drug and this one, and we think you'll be fine." And within a week, she was up and doing, and she had been sick for months. And so my mom is like, "So it's not all about the books that someone has
No.
studied. No,
Some
it's
people,
more
some people,
the
some
impact
people
you
look
make."
at aesthetics as
Yeah.
solutions to problems. That's why you drive past, you see a very, very tastefully furnished salon, and you assume the end product. Until you come out, everybody is greeting you.
You're smiling.
Like a friend of mine went to get his lines, right? So they just carved him like, so his face looked like he was smiling. So as he was passing, everybody was just greeting him. He was like he was smiling. So you see, just because something looks this way, give it a try. Give it a try to see first. Don't pick up that expensive material to try a tailor with. Get something cheap first to start. Just because the place is air conditioned, looking cozy and all that, don't mean that they can give you
Exactly
like
you
what
need.
you saw. Like that's why you see the meme. What I ordered.
Yes, it's what I
Oh
got.
man, I saw a pair of shoes, man. What it was and what came. Man. There's no way you can compare these two things. Man. There's just
Okay,
no way.
quickly. What's really annoying about education for you?
That you can finish and have no sense. That you can finish studying, you're graduated, and you don't have sense. It's annoying when they tell you that this one graduated with Z5 or X3 or A1 or 7D or 14 Fs. They're like, wow, 14 Fs, that's a good one.
Sambo Solomon.
And then you employ the person, and the person is behaving like a vulcanizer. There is a way it puts you off. So all these years in school and nothing, you understand? Nothing, just nothing, absolutely nothing. That's why parents tell you, my child is at home. Oh, he studied this, he studied. If you see him on the computer, he's always doing this, always. Bring the child and sit with the person. Every hour he's with you, trying to ask you a question or two.
Sambo Solomon. That's the big one.
Well, what annoys me is when there's a book person and a street person is solving the issue around him.
Wow. Wasted school fees. Wasted investment.
Perfect summary.
Prudence. What's annoying?
Wasted investment.
Our time is fast spent.
I'm sorry about that. For me, it will be the arrogance. I'm not saying appreciation. No, you are educated, so you appreciate that. That's a different thing. It's the arrogance that comes with it. Then you're not open to learning anymore, and I just dismiss you.
Well, for me, what annoys me about education or people that claim to be educated is education without character. It's a turn off. So education is supposed to expose you. It's supposed to make you relate better with people, regardless of their kid or who they are. That's what education should do to you. But when I see people that are educated, went to school, yet they disregard people, it's really not good. Our time is actually fast spent, but great discussion. Thank you all. Thank you. So to our viewers out there, thank you for joining today's edition of Today's Live. We'll be back tomorrow with another exciting and interesting topic. Do well to join us same time. For the rest of the day, you have a blessed day. Bye.